Welcome to the show, everybody. Got an exciting episode here. We are talking about 5 running backs we absolutely love. Got a very special guest, one of the experts in the field of NFL football from walterfootball.com. Walter, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Joe. When you asked me to come on the show, I was like, yeah, I'll come on again. Yeah, this sounds cool. Then I realized I'm like, wait, this is the first time I've been on the show because I feel like we've been talking for so long. It just seems so weird that I've been on. But yeah, thanks for having me on once again, and I'm looking forward to breaking down these rookie running backs.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about them. There's so much excitement around the running back position. I think a lot of these guys are going to have a major impact. But I want you to introduce yourself real quick, what you do, your website, tell everybody a little bit about you, because he's the guy that I go to his site for all the pre-NFL, the draft stuff, the actual real NFL draft stuff, to get information on who's getting drafted where. He knows his stuff, his college football stuff. Can you explain a little bit about yourself and your website and what you do?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I run walterfootball.com. We have the most accurate mock draft site on the internet. And that's not just me saying that. The fantasypros.com said that we were ranked number one in 2024 and other years beforehand. Last year in 2025 for that draft, we were third. So yeah, we cover everything on the site, not just NFL draft stuff. We have picks against the spread. We have fantasy rankings. We do a lot of content on best ball too. So if you're interested in that, like check us out at walterfootball.com. It's all free content. So yeah, like I said, we cover everything. We even grade the trades and all the signings. A lot of controversial stuff on there.
A lot of information on the site. Go check it out, guys. All right. So I'm ready to dive in. There's 5 running backs that we've got here on the list here for you. I'm excited to jump right in and talk about it. But before I do, make sure you guys do hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, hit the thumbs up, and drop a running back that you love. I want to make this ultra interactive. You guys know how I work. We want to hear it from you. Do you agree with Walter's picks? Do you agree with my picks? Which running back out of these 5 do you love? And secondly, which running back do you love this year? Maybe we didn't mention the running back that you love, but these are the kind of guys that really jumped out initially. And there's a ton of other sleepers that could really break out as well. So hit the thumbs up and drop a comment below. Make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft solution to smash your leagues. I've linked it below. Use code WIN to save. It'll put you light years ahead of the consensus that can Sheep's rankings. Grab 16 rounds. Use code WIN to save. All right, let's dive into it. I want to get the first one. This one's kind of you and I are kind of on the consensus about this. We're not going to disagree that Ashton Genty's our first running back. Do you also love Ashton Genty? Because it's pretty obvious. I think everybody loves him this year.
Yeah. Well, everyone loves him too much. That's the problem. He's going way too early in his drafts that I've done. I told you, like via text, I've done, I think, about 50 drafts so far this year. And every time I think I've only seen him drop out of the first round once. He went like 201 like the other night, but
Yeah.
usually he's going like 106, 107, 108, somewhere in that range. That's a little too early for my liking. I'd rather take some other guys. I mean, I obviously love his talent, but if you look at the past, even 2 years ago, when we had Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, those are 2 guys who were rated even higher by our senior NFL draft analyst, Charlie Campbell. Bijan Robinson didn't get the full workload in Atlanta. I mean, we saw Tyler Algier handle the workload,
Right.
or most of it, at least the first half of the season. Same thing with Gibbs in Detroit. Him Montgomery being the starter there. So he's only a rookie. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to give him the full workload. But the other argument is that the primary reason why, or one of the reasons why they drafted him, is because Pete Carroll's son, Pete Carroll being the head coach, his son is the run game coordinator of the Raiders. And so Pete Carroll just wanted to really set up his son for success. So if to do that, they're going to run Genty a lot. So you could argue that, but I'd rather have some of the other guys in the first round than Genty. Like if his ADP was like 204, 205, I think I would take him there. But 107 is a little too rich for me. But I do love the talent.
Yeah, I love the talent. I kind of disagree with you in a sense that I just think he's going to crush it, because I take a look at the depth chart. That's one thing I look at, and there's really nobody else there. Zamir White was an absolute disaster. I think they got rid of Madison. They brought in Mostert. They've got nobody else. They got Dylan Lube. I call him Luby. There, and they got Sincere McCormick. So sincerely, I feel that he's going to get a ton of volume. They want to run. They want to win. I definitely see where you're coming from in regards to what the other rookies have done, but you got to take a look at those scenarios, totally different situations where you had Montgomery there, who they just couldn't bench. And I see that situation actually kind of unfolding with the Chargers, where Najee's just not going to sit on the bench, where Hampton, I think, is coming off a little bit early, coming off like round 3 or something in redrafts, round 4, actually. I saw him come off in a big buy-in league that I'm in. So I see that unfolding there. I just don't see it unfolding here. I just see Genty running absolutely wild And this is one of those years where I think he just has an astronomical year. The volume will be there. 300 attempts is kind of the floor I'm thinking. He's going to eat. I see it.
Yeah, I think there's a chance at the end, the second half of the year, he might be a guy who dominates. I don't know. I just worry in the first half of the year they're just going to give a little too many carries to Mostert or Sincere McCormick. McCormick wasn't bad at the end of last year, but I do think ultimately, I mean, Genti is going to be the workhorse there. But like, I'd rather at 106, 107, some of the guys going there, like you have Malik Neighbors, Jameer Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Puka Nakua, Christian McCaffrey. Well, maybe not McCaffrey with these injuries, but some of those other guys, I think I'd just rather have them than Genti because they're proven. But like I said, if he's going early second round, I'd probably take him there most of the time.
Yeah, and also you got to mention Arthur Smith just screwed Bijan that year. I call him Bijan if you don't know. He absolutely screwed him that year, like absolutely
Yep.
destroyed him, just limited his ceiling. And we saw what he did after that, the year after when he wasn't there. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm a believer that he, right out of the gate, snap one, he's out on the field, no concern and no limitations. But we'll see. I mean, maybe they ease him in slightly. I don't know. But I see day one, Genti dominating. And with those wide receivers, you always have question marks. A guy like Puka, you're talking in the first round. Again, great talent. I love him, right? Last year didn't play the full season. They brought in Devontae Adams. They drafted, I think they drafted Ferguson now as a tight end, right? What, I don't know, fourth round, something like that. So
Yeah.
there's different options there. So it's gonna be interesting. I just I got him at 109 in a 2K buy-in league redraft. So I'm happy he fell to me there. Because he would have definitely been gone if right after, I would assume, if I didn't grab him. So Genti, we both love him. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. Next guy is your guy. I'll let you introduce him, but Henderson, what are your thoughts there with him?
So some of these running backs that we're talking about, like Genti, you mentioned Marion Hampton. In best ball, he's going like round 5. Quinshon Judkins like round 6.
Yeah.
Trevian Henderson, like once you get, I think past like round 6 is when you start getting some value with these rookies.
Right.
And he's been going like consistently round 7. I saw him sneak into round 8 in a couple of drafts. I think he provides good value there. He's some of these rookie running backs don't really do well in pass protection, and he is like an ace there. He's awesome in pass protection, so I think he's going to see a lot of work, especially in the PPR leagues. I mean, this guy is going to be able to catch the ball on third downs. Like at the very least, he's going to play third downs. So Ramondre Stevenson, that's not really his role. And Stevenson, ultimately, I think that I feel like Mike Vrabel is eventually going to bench him. He's just not that good. Henderson is just a really good talent. I thought he should have gone second round. He went third. It's not like a huge drop or anything, but I rated him as the 4th running back in this class, behind Genti, Judkins, and Hampton. So I like the talent a lot, and I think it's a good situation. I think like second half of the year he might take over as the primary back, but like I said, he's going to see action right away. Like we know that. So I'm given where he's going to, like mid round 7 usually, like I'm pretty happy to take him there.
Yeah, he came off really early in this express league. I was just gonna kind of pull up to see where he came out. Now it is a tight end premium. It's on FFPCs where I'm drafting. It's the main event, 2K
Okay.
buy-in. He actually came off round 4, like literally.
Wow.
So I had to go Harvey. Actually, what happened was he came off at the 4-3 because I drafted the 109, so it was on this turn. And they went Travion Henderson. I had to go Harvey there in round 4. I wouldn't have seen him, which we'll get to Harvey in a second right now. But that's literally where he came off, which is crazy. And that's with a tight end premium. So he had a bunch of tight ends go off before him. Actually, 3 tight ends came off, which Brock Bowers came at the 1.5, came off at the 1.5. Now, tight ends premium, meaning they get 1.5 per reception. McBride came off round 1 at the 1.110. And then Kittle at the 3.2, which I don't like Kittle. I think he sees a regression. He was a beneficiary last year because that offense was banged up. I mean, now they got Pearsall, Ayuk potentially healthy, and he just benefited, I think, because of injuries. So I think he takes a dip this year. But what do you think of that, Henderson? That's your guy, round 4. I mean, would you on 12-person league?
That's a little crazy. Round 4 is insane. Like 4 or 3. Like the guys, I'm just looking at this most recent draft I did. Starting round 4, we had Rashi Rice, Brees Hall, Mike Evans, Zay Flowers, Joe Mixon. Like I'd rather have Joe Mixon over him. George Kittle, you mentioned him, but this is not tight end premium. DJ Moore, Devontae Smith. So this is just like 4th round. I'd rather have those most of those guys, not all of them, but most of those guys over him, just because there's uncertainty. Like I said, the thing that stood out to me with Henderson in these drafts on DraftKings is that he is going round 7. Whereas like the other rookies, like Hampton, you mentioned Hampton earlier, he's going around 5. It's a little too rich for my blood. But if you reverse them and put Hampton in the 7th round, I'd like Hampton more. So it's just all about the value and like where you can get these guys.
By the way, I want to talk about, I do love Hampton. He's not on this list particularly, but I am really, really turned off with the Najee Harris. Now, he came at the 3-7, and we're
Mhm.
talking a 2K buy-in league, so-called high stakes league, right? Like these, they're not necessarily experts, but these guys play a lot. If you're drafting in May, you know what's up, right? So the 3.7, and I love the talent, but I am turned off. How much do you think? How much do you think volume-wise Najee is going to see? And do you see on that first drive Najee coming out on the first drive being the starter? I see it because I think they want to do what Detroit's doing. And do you see Najee really dipping into that volume with Hampton?
Yeah, he's going to take a lot of volume, at least the first half of the year. Hampton's going to play third downs, and Najee's not like really great third down back, so that's where you're going to see Hampton's role right away. But Jim Harbaugh strikes me as like an old school kind of coach, where he's like, I don't want to give a rookie any reps, And Harris, he's seen as a first round bust. But the funny thing is, if he were drafted in the 3rd round, and of his NFL draft, I think everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, he's had a good career. Never
Right.
missed a game, 1,000 yards every year." Like he's solid. He's not great. He's solid, and as long as he's healthy, which like he's been healthy his whole career, I feel like he's going to handle most of the workload. So Hampton is pretty scary to me. Like I said, I wouldn't take him before round 7. Like whoever took him in round 4. So, or
Three.
maybe you said round 3. You said round 3, yeah.
Three, yeah.
That's pretty nuts. Whoever did that, I think they wasted $2,000.
Yeah, and not only that though, if you look at the FFPC rankings on this site, this high stake league, Hampton was actually the highest, and I most ADPs I'm looking, Hampton is the first running board off the board after Genty. It's like Genty, Hampton. That's how it's viewed. Then like it's like Henderson and then like Harvey. So
Mhm.
that's just the way it was. He was just kind of, that was his ADP. If you want him there, that's where he's coming off. So, and that's the thing. I think a lot of these rookie running backs, mainly rookie running backs particularly, are coming off higher than they should all around because everyone's buying this hype. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Harvey and some of these guys come off in round 2 by August. I'm telling you, man, because they've got the opportunity. So let's dive into that real quick. RJ Harvey, why I love him. There is a bit of a caveat. I don't know if you heard. I heard it like 3 days ago. The time of this recording, hopefully it doesn't happen. But they're thinking of bringing in Travis Etienne. I don't know, man. That would suck. It would kind of. I mean, I still think Harvey's the man, but I think it would buzzkill. And listen, 4.4 speed, explosive runs, ability to cut, workhorse capable. Audric estimate was limited to under 100 attempts last year. Harvey's in just such a prime position. They love him. Bo Nix is there. I'm just excited about this team. Pat Bryant, maybe you can add a note on Pat Bryant as a sleeper. I like him as well. But RJ Harvey is just in a great position. I have to have him. I got him in my dynasty league, got him in my other league as well. This 2K buy-in out for a chance to win $1 million. What are your thoughts on Harvey? Maybe I'm higher than him than you are, but I just love the situation. I'm excited.
Well, before I give you my thoughts, I'm kind of curious where you got him in your draft, or where he
Yeah,
went in your draft,
yeah. Right
because
after
um,
Henderson. Right after Henderson at the 4. Right after Henderson, it was Henderson. Then it was Harvey. So I got him at the 4. What did I
okay,
say? 4-3, 4 something.
okay.
My
So
favorite. Yeah.
in my drafts,
4-4.
he's been going around 5. He went 501 in the draft I did, the most recent one. That's too early for me as well. Like it's the same thing with like Hampton and Judkins, and like there's less competition with Harvey because obviously there's no Najee Harris there.
Right.
Even with like Judkins, like I like Judkins, but Jerome Ford has had some success. So like, is he gonna automatically to take over that job, or maybe like Dylan Sampson's gonna get some work? So there's some uncertainty with Judkins as well.
Of course.
Harvey has like a bunch of bums around him, but
Yeah.
like you were saying, Travis Etienne's like there's definitely a possibility he or someone else goes there. There's a bunch of other running backs in the market like J.K. Dobbins and Nick Chubb. Like they could ruin things.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of worry about that. And one thing, there are a couple of things I worry about with RJ Harvey. Like, first of all, I don't think he's like an instinctive runner. Like maybe he'll become one eventually, but he's a former quarterback, and so he's still making this positional change. And so I don't think like a lot of times like he'll try to go to the outside where like the inside run was there, and like I think that could get him in trouble. But primarily, like he's not good in pass protection, and I feel like Sean Payton is going to really want that out of his running back. Now he was taken in the 2nd round, so he's going to get all the opportunities, but
Sure.
That could keep him off the field. Definitely on third downs. Like I don't see him playing third down. So like his upside is going to be limited. But I'm going to say the same thing I said about Henderson and Hampton. Like Harvey in round 5 is kind of like no go for me. Like I'd rather take some of the veterans. Some of these guys might regress, but yeah, I mean, you have like Alvin Kamara, Chuba Hubbard, Kenneth Walker, James Conner. Like those guys, I know their roles. Like I don't know what Harvey's going to do, and so I'd rather take them in round 5. But if you offer me Harvey around 7, that sounds a lot better. It's just about like where he's going. I really think that what you were saying is absolutely true. Like these rookie running backs are always overhyped, at least in the early rounds. I think you can find some like really great sleepers, like starting round 7, especially in like double digit rounds. I find myself like taking some of these rookies late in like 11th round or so, and we'll be talking about one of them soon.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm just reading some scouting reports on Harvey here, and you're right. He can dance too much behind the line of scrimmage, leading to negative plays when he doesn't hit the hole with decisiveness. So if he
Mm,
fixes that, improves his pass protection, I'm sure he's got to tighten things up in the NFL. But it almost seems like he just wants to be fancy schmancy behind the line by the sounds of it, right?
yeah.
He just wants, look at me, and they look good, and so I'm kind of intrigued. But you can't always fall for that sometimes because I remember going back a couple years. Quick story here. Amir Abdullah, I remember like when he came out, it was preseason, and he did this amazing move in his first game. I'm like, he was like doing the shake and bake stuff. I'm like, Amir Abdullah, I gotta draft this guy. I didn't spend too
Right.
much. It was like an 8th, 7th, 8th round pick. It's not like I spent early round pick, but it's Amir Abdullah. He busted. I don't think this guy is Amir Abdullah. I think he's better. I think the situation is good. I just hope that an ATN doesn't come in and kind of buzz kill my buzz right now because I got him and I believe in him and I think that they could do special things. So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. That's what makes it fun.
I think I fell for the same thing with Abdullah. I remember drafting him too, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, yeah, big time bust. All right, your
Yeah,
next guy, and I'm gonna probably butcher the name here, but let's do it. Bashal Tootin.
yeah, that's right.
Tootin, Jacksonville, what is he? RB 51 right now, 5'11, 210, give or take. He had the 4.32 speed, didn't he, at the combine? Like, that's amazing.
Yep. He's the fastest running back at the combine. So there's that. And you're talking about competition in Jacksonville. There's Travis Etienne, and then there's Tank Bigsby, and then there's Tootin. So it's gonna be one of those three. I wouldn't be surprised. And we actually had a guest on my show. I do a show 4 nights a week live on YouTube. Um, we had a guest who's I think he does like 50 leagues. It's pretty crazy. But
Wow.
he's super knowledgeable. But he was saying he predicted live on the air that Travis Etienne was going to be traded. So I thought that was pretty cool that you mentioned Etienne going to Denver. They've spoken out negatively about Etienne, and he just hasn't lived up to his first round status. I mean, he's just like natural athleticism, but he just
Yeah.
as a runner, he hasn't been there. Tank Bigsby was the better runner last year. So I think if you were to handicap this, I think Bigsby is probably the favorite to start. But the thing with Tootin is like this is a new regime in Jacksonville. They have a new head coach. They have a new general manager. These guys are both young, and I think they're willing to take more chances. And Tootin is the guy they drafted. So I think that gives him somewhat of an edge. So if I were to say like I should think like ATN might be in like third place to start really at this point because I do think he's gonna be traded. So I would say like Bigsby is probably the favorite, and then Tootin after that. But I'm kind of curious where Tootin went your draft because I'm looking at my draft from 2 nights ago. He went round 12, pick 8. So you get him like that late, like as a guy who could start and who has amazing upside because of his speed. Like I'll take that any day. Like I said, there are several others that you can draft right now in double digit rounds, at least on DraftKings. Like for example, Jaden Blue is going round 11. Like he's another guy I've been
I don't
taking.
trust them. I don't trust the Cowboys. They run committees. They've
I
got
know, I know.
apparently Javante is doing well. Javante sucks. I'm not a Javante believer. I'm just trying to look up where this Tootin guy came off here. But why aren't you talking about the elephant in the room about Tootin, Mr. Fumbles? And I heard he's already fumbling in camp right now, mini camp there.
Mm.
So I don't know. Ball security
So
issues. Are we not talking about that for your guy?
I've always been I've ever since the Tiki Barber days. I've always argued that if a running back fumbles, I think it's more on the head coach or at least the running game coach than the player because we saw Tom Coughlin go into the New York Giants when Tiki Barber just couldn't stop fumbling. He was the original Mr. Fumble, right?
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin taught him how to carry the ball differently, and then Tiki Barber, I don't think he ever fumbled the ball again, like maybe once. So if he could fix the original missed fumbles, like I think that Liam Cohen's a smart guy. I think he should be able to figure it out. He's an offensive guru apparently, and he's done great as an assistant with several teams. Um, I think he could fix that. And, I don't know, fumbles, they're inconsistent. We'll see. That could keep him from starting, if they don't trust him. But I think that if Liam Cohen is a good coach, and I think he will be, then he should be able to fix Tootin's fumbling problems. But it's still early. Look, I mean, if we get to July and August and he's not fumbling, then I think he's a lot safer. But it's definitely something that you should keep an eye on.
Okay, I found him. 8.6 he came off. Round
Okay.
8.6. That's a little high for me.
That's a little high. Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, yeah, if you get around 12, it's a different story,
Yeah, Najee came off right before him at the 8.5. Then it was Tootin. And the guy that drafted Tootin actually drafted Scatabo 7.7. I don't want to jump into two other running backs, but just quickly, are you feeling
That's too
Scatabo
early.
in New York at the 7.7?
No, I mean, he's going around the same area in which you just said. I think he's been going like round 7 or round 8. I can't even find him here, but he's the Scatabo. I like Scatabo, but I think that people saw that Arizona State Texas playoff game. Everyone saw it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, Cam Scatabo." Kind of reminds me of with this best ball stuff, you can draft during the season. So they do have like round 2 onward, round 3 on, or sorry, week 2 onward, week 3 onward. Week 2 onward last year, because Isaiah Likely had that amazing game against the Chiefs, and Jaden Reed had that amazing game against the Eagles. Jaden Reed was going 2nd round. Isaiah Likely was going 4th round. I was just laughing at these people, like, what are you doing? And I think that's the same thing with Cam Scatabo. Everyone saw that game against Texas. They're like, oh my God, I got to get Cam Scatabo. He's the 3rd running back on that roster right now. And Devin Singletary is not some bum. He's a decent backup.
I don't know. I'm not really a Suckletary guy. I call him Suckletary. I'm not really he didn't do anything last year, though. I don't know.
I thought he was doing well until he got hurt, and then Tyron Tracy, he was really impressive as a rookie. Like I don't see Scatabo passing Tracy. Tracy gets hurt, maybe he has a chance, but Scatabo, like, yeah, he's going around 7, around 8, maybe around 9. Like that's way too early for my liking. So it's all about where you can get these guys.
No, bottom line, I got one more to give you guys here that I love. Bottom line is, I think a lot of these guys are going to bust based on expectations, but I think a bunch of them are going to hit, and it's just going to be like, wow, like and I think the next guy is one of them, and I have zero doubt that this guy's the one. I don't hear, and it sounds like you're more like conservative, more like I laid back, more like safe. You kind of, what you see is what you get. Like if we're buying a house, Walter, you're more the guy like, I see the house, it's built. I'm more like pre-construction. Like, let's see, let's build it on a drawing, that type of thing. But the next guy, I just feel certainty with him. Caleb Johnson, I just did a video on my Instagram, him coming out saying, he's like, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, I could be that type of back. Super confident, 263 plus attempts freed up. Najee Harris, who looked lackluster, under 4 yards per carry. In comes Caleb Johnson, top prospect coming out of the draft. No competition there. And I don't care what anyone says about, you probably say the same thing about Warren. Here's my mentality when I look at fantasy, right? If you're that good, why aren't you starting over Najee? And Najee wasn't that good. I could see it like if Najee was phenomenal and whatever, blowing out runs and all that, like breaking up, becoming a bar, but he wasn't. He looked lackluster, ran into piles, looked like garbage, and Warren couldn't beat him. So what makes Warren the starter? That's number 1 clue. And number 2 clue is like, why? The thing is, why would you draft this guy in the 3rd round? You just say, hey, Warren's our guy. We'll bring in an ETN as a backup or something like that. We're just going to run, or a Nick Chubb, and we're going to run Warren. He's our guy. No, they didn't do that. They drafted Caleb with relatively high draft capital, I think 3rd round. I'm just super excited about this guy. I think he's going to eat, and it's a minimum of 250 attempts. I don't see any other way around it. What are your thoughts on Caleb?
Well, I have good news and bad news for you with Caleb. Do you want the good news first or the bad news?
Let's get the bad out of the way. I want to save the news. I want it to end off on a high note. So what's the bad?
I'm with you. I like the bad news first. Well, the bad news is the guy coaching him is someone we brought up earlier with Bijan. Is Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I've thought about this, but I'm hoping he learned from his mistakes. That's my hope here.
We'll see. I mean, he's a pretty weird guy, and I don't really have faith in Arthur Smith to make the right decisions. The good news is, I mean, I love Caleb Johnson. I thought he went later than he should have. We had him in the 2nd round of our NFL mock draft, so he's I thought he was a really good value. I think he's is a very talented runner. Talking about like instinctive running backs, like RJ Harvey is not very instinctive. Like he's super instinctive. He'll always make like the right decision. And he's got talent on top of it. I was really impressed with him at Iowa. I think he's a great runner. I thought he should have been closer to like the top four than he was where he went in the third round. And I also like Pittsburgh's offensive line. Now they lost James Daniels, but they get Choi Fautanu back from injury. I think Isaac Samalo in the interior, their center, Zach Frazier last year was awesome. He's only a rookie, so he's going to get better. So I think it's a good situation. Now you have Jalen Warren there, and he's the veteran. I think like Mike Tomlin's like one of these old school coaches who, ultimately, like, it's going to be his decision, right? But I think that he's going to start off the Warren, but like Warren is a guy who always tends to get banged up. And so he's the opposite of Harris there. Harris would never get hurt. Warren will always get like nicked up. So it's going to happen eventually. And when it does, like Caleb Johnson's going to be a big producer. So he went in this draft that I was referencing before. He went round 7, pick 11. So kind of curious like where he went for you, but I mean round 7 is pretty good value for him.
Sorry, are you talking best ball for you? Is it particularly a best ball league or is it redraft for you?
I do nothing but best ball. I'm in a couple of redraft leagues, but I like I said, I've done 50 best ball drafts so far. I plan on doing like 200 plus. So yeah, he's consistently been going like round 7, and this is PPR by the way. But yeah, I mean, I think that he's not as good in PPR. But
Okay,
what do you think?
I got him. I got him because I wanted him. I have to have him. 5.9. I got him at 5.9. But here's the thing, right? I had to take him there because it was swinging back around. I wouldn't have got him 16 picks later. I had to take him, so I got him at the 5.9.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. I mean, he's going later than where he went for you. He went later than RJ Harvey did in my draft, which is 501. So, once you get to like late 5th round, it's okay. And like I said, I'm a big believer in his talent. Like I said, but the only thing that scares me is Arthur Smith. Like I feel like he's going to screw things up. Like he didn't know how to use Bijan, so like how's he going to know how to use Caleb, right?
I got you saying Bijan, but the reason I say Bijan,
Bijan.
have you heard me say Bijan before? I don't know if you've ever watched the Instagram, but the reason I say it is buy as in bi-weekly, right? You don't say bi-weekly, and then Jan as in ran, as in tan, as in fan. That's it. That's my mentality. I know it's like, well, he wants to pronounce it Bijan like the mustard, but I don't care. I just do my own thing. As you can tell, I do my own thing, So that's kind of how I've had success. And like last year, people called me crazy. Like they always call me crazy. Like I was like Lad McConkey and Brian Thomas were like my top wide receivers. Like why? I'm like, because I knew it. I could see the depth chart. I could see that Brian Thomas is safer than what's the other guy? Kirk. Kirk was coming off ahead of him on the ADP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a visionary. That's why I'm successful at what I do. And I just feel that some of these running backs are going to do well. Will Harvey bust? Potentially, right? I mean,
right.
Someone else can come in and just screw it up, or he just doesn't do well, right? But I just like rolling the dice, but always having a backup plan for a backup plan when I do draft. So I'm kind of, even though I take risks, I always kind of cover myself, So
yeah, I feel the same way. I had Brian Thomas ranked pretty highly. He's my number 2 sleeper last year before his ADP rose, so I had to take him out of that eventually. But to start the fantasy process, he was going pretty late, so I liked him a lot. My number 1 sleeper was Ricky Pearsall before, and then he got shot, so I had to remove him. But I did like those guys, especially Thomas. Like I drafted him a bunch. McConkey, I didn't know, like I liked him in PPR mostly. I didn't know about his upside. I didn't hate him though, but I mean he was awesome. So I mean those are great calls on your part. Like you have to echo what you said. Like you have to think outside the box. If you just go with the the natural ADP rankings, like you're not going to win consistently in your league. Like you have to get ahead of the pack. And I mean hopefully we helped some people do that here.
Yeah, good info, man. Really good insight on those players. I appreciate it. We're going to get you on again, man. I'd love to talk wide receivers with you, quarterbacks. Your insight is really good. And you're touching on things that maybe I'm not touching on. And if I'm just a talking head, sometimes I wouldn't mention some of the caveat. I try to mention some of the negative stuff to players. Sometimes I'm really like tunnel vision on certain players and I'm set on them. And like last year, my flaw, right? Zamir White. I was all in because of the situation. And he should have done well based on the situation, but he didn't, right? So it is what it is. He ended up being my RB3 on a lot of teams, and he busted. I was getting him round 5-ish, give or take. 4 or 5 was kind of where it's coming off. So that was kind of my biggest bust last year. And I thought Keon Coleman would have done more last year with the vacant targets and all that stuff, and he just didn't do anything. It was just really strange, really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole Buffalo offense was strange. Yeah, it was just Josh Allen running in for touchdowns and James Cook running in for touchdowns. I
Yeah,
feel like Shakir's doing some stuff, but overall, that I feel like that whole team let down. Kean Coleman didn't do much. Amari
Kincaid.
Cooper when he went over. Yeah, Kincaid. Well, I mean, he dealt with a PCL injury, so I can maybe excuse that. So I think you can maybe buy low on Kincaid this year. But if you kind of feel hesitant about that, I wouldn't blame me at all. But then they traded for Amari Cooper. He had one good game and then he didn't do anything. So like it felt like Buffalo's offense just didn't do anything at all, and yet they still went to the AFC Championship. So you can't really criticize them too much. But yeah, I mean, I would love to come on again to talk these other
Yeah.
positions. I think it'll be a good time.
Awesome, man. Yeah, the podcast is booming now. And I mean, it's kind of in the off season, but we're still getting good numbers and a great crowd here. And yeah, so I'll leave your website below. Check it out there. What should they check out when they're on your site? What's something cool to check out immediately for value at this time of year?
Well, this time of year, we're posting why the slide articles. So Charlie Campbell, our senior NFL draft analyst, he talks to like everyone in the league, and I'm not even joking. Like he once sent me an email where an actual GM of a team, emailed him first and asked him about offensive linemen, and they had this like long conversation. So like he talks to everyone, even owners. So we get the great insight from him. And after the draft is over, he goes to these sources of his and it's like, okay, why this guy slide? Why Cam Cadabo slide, for example? Why Quinn Ewers slide? Like we have these articles on our site, like why these guys slid, and like after the draft, like these sources are going to be way more forthcoming because they have nothing to hide. So they'll tell them everything. So we have these articles. We're going to have season previews soon. And with fantasy rankings, picks against the spread, we even have like NBA picks and MLB home run prop bets as well, which we've done pretty well with. So yeah, we like I said, I'm not joking when I said we cover everything on the site. So yeah, walterfootball.com. Like I said, all the content's free, so check us out.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having on. And there's some running backs for you, right? Some great value rookie running backs you definitely want to consider. Walter, man, pleasure having you on the show. We'll get you back again.
All right, sounds good, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, everybody. Smash the thumbs up, drop a question below, and I'll get to them. We'll talk soon, guys. Have yourself a great day. Bye, Walter. Thank you.
Bye.